Good morning, everyone. I want to talk about brand and about purpose and how the two interrelate, or how they can interrelate, because in some cases they don't. So let's start with a definition of what we mean by brand. So brand is, in essence, your reputation. What people think of you as an organization or as a product. And that's made up of three things. The first one is identity. It's what you stand for, what you believe in, and how you want to express your personality as a brand in the marketplace. That's the sort of thing traditionally that people like me would have been charged with. What's the color of the logo? What are we saying in our advertising? How are we engaging with our customers to try and get them to buy more? So it's about identity. But I said there were three things. So that's a third of it. The second one is behavior. What is it like to, in a service industry, what's it like to deal with that brand? Does it live up to the promise that the marketing people tell us about? What is the customer experience like? And increasingly, that is becoming more important to the customer, and I'll touch on why in a moment. And the third element is performance. So it's one thing to say, this is who we are, and to have a great customer experience, but if you don't actually deliver the product or service at the end of the day, then you'll destroy your reputation or your brand. And I'll give you an example. I'm one of the oldest people in this room, so I remember this, but some of you may remember back in the 1980s, British Rail, remember them? They had an advertising campaign, "We're getting there." Identity, we're getting there. It was on billboards, it was in national newspapers. You can work out what happened. The entire country said, your staff are rude. It's difficult to buy a ticket. It's difficult to buy food on a train. Your trains are slow. In fact, in some cases, they never get there. And that's a classic example of how a brand is not about advertising. It's not about events like this. It is about a combination of things. It is about the experience. In the old world, so if you went back 20 years ago or something like that, when I started in marketing, brands would tell their customers through promotion, PR, and advertising what they should think of them. Persil washes whiter. Oh, does it? Well, I'll give that a go. Nowadays, brands are crowdsourced through social media. When I started out in marketing, we were taught religiously, everyone was taught, that if a customer has a bad experience, they will tell 11 people. If they have a good experience, they'll tell 9. But they will tell people. Nowadays, you have the potential to tell 1 million people through social media. And so how we behave and how we perform are integral to what our brand stands for and how our customers perceive us. Let's have a look at some brands. And what I'm going to do is give you examples of some brands which follow. You can categorize them. And starting at this end, it's about what you have as a brand. So it's your infrastructure. What you do, your products and services, how you do it, your skills and approach, who you are, your people and your values, and why you do it, your purpose or your cause. So let's have a look at some brands and what they stand for in their marketplace. HSBC. Fly virtually anywhere in the world, land, walk through the gantry, what do you see? HSBC. They have a monopoly on airport advertising, but why do they do that? It's because they want to be perceived as the world's local bank. And there's no better way of doing that than when someone walks off a plane, the first thing they see is the familiar thing that they saw when they left HSBC. So they go to market, and they can rightly do so, to say, we're the world's largest bank. It's unlikely that anyone is ever going to compete with that in the future. Visa, probably all have a Visa card. Visa go to market, and they talk about the number of places across the globe where you can use your Visa card. If you have an American Express, it's much more limited. So those two brands talk about what they have, their infrastructure, their ability to serve you wherever you are. What you do, this is about products and services. Take the first two examples of Google and Hoover. They're classic examples of brands that are associated with doing something. And how do we know that? It's because we use them as verbs. I don't search for something. I don't Bing something. I don't Yahoo something. I Google it. They are synonymous with searching online. Hoover, don't know about you, but I don't vacuum the floor. I Hoover it. Again, a brand that is associated with what it does. Cadbury, if I was in the States, I'd use Hershey as an example. Cadbury means chocolate. If I say Cadbury, you think dairy milk. So brands that are associated with the products and services that they offer. How you do it? Let's take the bottom one there, McDonald's. Go anywhere in the world, and you're guaranteed to see those golden arches. And if you enter, it will look very familiar. Even down to the spotty oik behind the counter who asks if you want to go large. The menu may have some slight cultural differences, but you can buy a Big Mac in any McDonald's anywhere in the world. Because the McDonald's brand is about consistency. It's about how they do it. And basically, they do it in the same way wherever you are. Dell is another example. If you've ever bought a Dell computer for home, you can design your own computer. You can decide what you want it to do, what software it has on it. You basically pull it together online. Car manufacturers are doing that now as well. You can design your own car. And that, for them, that's very much about how they do it. It's their approach. Other brands, we've already mentioned Body Shop. That's about their values. Enrich, not exploit. NatWest. NatWest is a really great example. Buzzing. NatWest is in the same market as HSBC. Can't possibly claim to have the same infrastructure and coverage as HSBC. So what do NatWest do? They go to market on the basis of their customer service. Their advertising is about two Scottish ladies driving around the Highlands bringing mobile banking to far-flung communities. They were the first UK bank to open on a Saturday. So their brand is about their people and their values, which is all around customer service. Virgin, classic disruptor brand that enters markets where it genuinely believes it can serve the customer better. So those are brands that are very much about their people and their values. And then finally, we get to why you do it. MasterCard, the top example, competes against Visa. Visa says you can use our card anywhere. MasterCard says you can use our card to buy priceless experiences. So they ran an ad recently with a father who was on the telephone for hours trying to buy tickets for a concert for his daughter because it was a priceless experience. And what MasterCard say is that we facilitate that. We help create priceless experiences for you. Disney, Tim has mentioned, so Disney is about happiness or magic. So think about their advertising. It's "we're going to Disneyland," and the look of delight on the kids' faces. It tugs at your heartstrings. Coca-Cola. Anyone know what Coca-Cola wants their brand to be associated with?
Happiness, open happiness.
Happiness, yeah. Anyone else? Love and friendship. Again, blast from the past. Anyone remember "I'd like to teach the world to sing"? Yeah? It always gets a cringe response. Classic Coca-Cola positioning. People holding a Coca-Cola bottle, climbing a mountain of all different races and nationalities, and they want to teach the world to sing. Every Christmas, that annoying ad, holidays are coming. They want you to associate Coca-Cola with happiness, love, and friendship. Anyone know why Santa Claus or Father Christmas wears red? Coca-Cola colours. He originally wore green, but Coca-Cola in the 1900s put him in their colours, and subconsciously we associate Santa Claus with Coca-Cola. IKEA do not go to market and say "we are the world's largest furniture retailer." They go to market with their purpose. Actually, they use their purpose in their advertising. It's translated from the Swedish, so it doesn't literally translate, but it's the better everyday life. And their advertising is about creating homes, about creating warmth. It's not about buying flat pack furniture, all right, at the cheapest possible price. Although their pricing is competitive, they don't compete on that basis. They compete on what you can achieve as a consumer. L'Oreal, because you're worth it. Well, yeah, I'm worth it. Why not? And IBM, the final example there. IBM do not talk about their products. They don't talk about the servers that they build. They don't talk about software. They talk about business solutions. They talk about the output of what they do. The key to this is that everything on that side of the line is very functional. It's about what you do, yeah, and how you do it. Everything on the other line, other side of the line, appeals on an emotional level to customers. And you'll see that it's very closely linked to purpose. Now, one of the things that we are doing at the moment, as Peter mentioned, is that we are going through an exercise. We're bringing together two organisations, two very different organisations, and are looking to define that DNA that goes through us all, which will be our purpose. And it will be appealing to our audiences around the output of what we do and why we do it. Simon Sinek's model, there's a great video that he produced, which is quite short, where he talks about Apple. And what he says is that Apple do not go to market and say, "We produce computers. They're great. They're beautifully designed, they're easy to use, and they're user-friendly. Want to buy one?" No. What they do is they say, everything we do, in everything that we do, we challenge the status quo. We think differently. How do we do that? We build computers, iPads, iPhones that are beautifully designed, easy to use, and user-friendly. And we build great computers, iPads, and iPhones. Now, if you're an Apple fan, as I am, you'll identify with that. You'd identify with the fact that it's not just about what it does, it's about how it makes you feel, and it's about the beauty of the object that you're buying. What that enables them to do is to move from producing desktop computers into the tablet market, into the iPad market, the iPhone market, the telephone market, where others have failed to do that because they're too associated with what they do. So an example there of where purpose is helping the brand expand into new markets. The commercial power of purpose. So Tim's already talked about this, but I thought I'd share this with you, which is analysis of the performance of some Fortune 500 companies. So we're looking at 2008 against 2017. Let's start with GE. GE in the news at the moment, so you can imagine where this is going. Down to number 31 from 5, revenue down, profit down. GE is a mission-led organization. What about some of those? Walmart, up to number 1. Profits up, revenue up, profits up. Alphabet is the holding company for Google. Wow, 241 to 40. Revenue over 3 times, and profit significantly increased. A purpose-led organization. Amazon, nowhere in 2008. 2017, 12th. Dramatic increase in revenue and profitability. And again, a purpose-led organization. Eastman Kodak, you probably know where this is going. 284. Failed. And it's quite interesting, and there are lots of commentaries about Kodak, and it was a mission-led organization, but I can't help thinking that if they defined what their purpose was, which could have been to help people capture memories forever, rather than to produce the best film, they might have succeeded, because they would have realized that if it was about capturing the best memories forever, they would have moved into digital, but they didn't. So a lesson there about organizations that are mission-led ultimately may struggle, particularly in today's environment, which is fairly volatile and uncertain.